Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this exclusive and super exciting interview. Today we have an exciting guest, our most exciting guest so far. He's joining us, and he is the half marathon world record holder and two-time world cross-country champion. Today with us, ladies and gentlemen, we have Geoffrey Kamworor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I'm very happy to share with you and to go live with you and to share some ideas at these strange times.
Thank you so much. We're so excited to have you. I personally am super excited for this interview because, I'm sorry to all the football fans who are following this live, but athletics has always been my first true love in sport. I was a runner growing up. So, stars like Kamworor are the people that I've always looked up to. And this is always the most exciting sport for me. So I'm super excited about this and I'm so glad to have you. So I think we can start off, with just some background introduction to get to know you a bit better. We know that you grew up in Elgeyo Marakwet, and it's also known as the County of Champions, right? Now, I just want to know, growing up, did you have any stars, any athletes at the time who were your neighbors?
Great. As you have heard, my name is Geoffrey Kamworor. I grew up from Elgeyo Marakwet County, particularly Elgeyo South constituency. Elgeyo Marakwet County is the home of champions. I can say that during my younger days, I didn't have some athletes around my home or where I was born, but I was used to see some athletes, Kenyan athletes running like Paul Tergat, Ethiopian athletes like Haile Gebrselassie. So those are the athletes I used to watch when I was young. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm sure it must have been exciting as you've grown in your career to actually meet the stars who you watched growing up. This is exciting for me as a previous runner to be able to interview you right now because you're someone who was a star in my childhood, someone who inspired me and who I was seeing when I was growing up. So this is fantastic. And I'm sure you did feel the benefit of, having those stars around you and people you could look up to when you're growing up. So still on your upbringing, we know that in Kenya, athletes start running at a very young age, of course. So how old were you when you actually first took part in your first race?
Since when I was young, I used to go and watch athletics. There was a nearby secondary school near my home. I had a lot of passion in athletics, so I could go watch. I could sneak away from home, go watch the athletics the whole day. Little did I know that one time I'll be a great athlete. So yeah. I was so inspired. It's something I had passion in. And we grew up from a humble background, from rural areas. So we used to run to school to and fro in the morning and in the evening. So we didn't know that we were doing some training. So that's when I didn't know that one day I could run until when I was in class 8. Mm-hmm. When I used to compete in my primary school competitions, I could run from all the way from 800 to 10,000. I didn't know that I could run on any distance because I was loving to run. I loved to run. And when I joined Form 1, that's when I went to another level. So even though I didn't start running immediately until when I was Form 3, when I started again competing in the classes competitions. That's when my games teacher saw he saw a talent on me, and he just told me that maybe you can run. You have a great future, and I can see you can go far when you run. And I told him that I love athletics and I have passion in it. So that's when I started running, and I created a passion in athletics. And after my high school, that's when I fully went on training program, a training camp.
Okay. No, I mean, I'm still on your, the first race, the first experience. It's so nice to see that this is something that came up when you were in high school. I want to hear a bit more about your first race. How did this feel like? What was the inspiration? How was it when you won your first competitive race, in high school, or the first time that you actually took part in a competitive race? What was the experience like?
I think the experience was really strange because when I was in high school, I didn't train at all. I never went for training. I couldn't go for like morning runs in the evening. I could just wait until the competition time. So when the competition is there, I could just run, and when it's finished, I could stop running. Little did I know that running requires a lot of training, but I didn't know. So until when but I could proceed to professional games without any trainings.
Oh wow!
Until when I finished this, when I finished high school, that's when I joined a training camp near my home, and there I just trained for like 5 months, and I was fit to go. And my friends who was training by then, and they have known well about athletics, told me that you are okay to compete at the international levels, and that's when. And after 5 months after my high school is when I flew. I went to Finland for some small local races, for some small races, yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're listening in this live to like me, you must be thinking that Kamworor is one of those annoying people in high school who always just showed up and won the race without training, without any effort. You can see, as he said it, until he finished high school, he did not have to train to go to a regional race. He would just show up and win. Now, isn't that great? I think that's fantastic, and it proves that you've always been a star since your little days. I think that's completely exciting. Now let's talk about the big topic, which is the fact that you're the current world half marathon champion. That must be brilliant. Please, I want to know about how you actually got into running the half marathon. Where did this decision come from? When and how was the decision to go into the half marathon?
I think when as I've just told you that my first international competitions was in Finland. So the moment I just landed on Finland, I met my manager, and we had a small talk. So he just told me, what do you think? And I just told him that I want to run a world record in half marathon. And he was like, wow, here you can just compete for the track races. We don't have road races here at the moment. And I told him, well, it's okay, but maybe in future I could do that. And after my 3 months in Finland, I came back. I came back to Kenya, trained very hard, and joined global sports communication. That's when I discovered my real potential in athletics, because there I could meet great athletes like Eliud Kipchoge, great coach like Patrick Sang, great athletes like Premium Kipruta. So I met great athletes that I couldn't wish that I'll have a time to train with them. And that's when I was really motivated. And that's when I started training good. And from then, my first half marathon, I went to Berlin, where I won. And I had a lot of passion in running half marathons. That's in every half marathon I ran, I could win. I can say 90% I've won the half marathons I've ran.
Yeah.
Yes, and from then, most of the times I could discuss with the manager that one day I could run the world record in the half marathon. And many of my friends saw that, and they could always tell me that, why can't you try to break the world record in the half marathon? And I just told them that time will come. Let me just be patient. Let me just prepare. But when that time comes, I'll for sure do that.
And you did.
Until last year, when it was there was a championship in Doha. So we engaged in training and went for for the trials in Nairobi for the 10,000, where I won. So I got a slot into the Kenyan team. But we had a long discussion with the manager and with my coach. So I had to leave the 10,000 for the World Championships and focus for the half marathon, because he told me that just between the two, here is a championship and you have already qualified, and it's a big event, and there is a half marathon where you are going, you will decide if you are going to attempt the world record. So let's wait. And I just told them, let me just leave the world championships, let me go for the half marathon, try my best. And I trained very well, and I thought it was the right time. And they also saw that it was the right time for me to break the record, because most of the times we never had enough time to prepare. We never had ample time to prepare for the half marathon. So that was the last year was the best time for us and for me to prepare very well. And for sure, it happened.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And are you happy? I'm just touching on what you said about having to make the decision between, running the 10,000 meters and moving on to the half marathon. Looking at that today, are you happy with that decision? Do you miss running the 10,000 meters? How do you feel about that?
Of course, I wanted to go for the 10,000 because it's the 10,000 title. It's something I'm really looking for, and it's something I want to have it in future. So at the same time, it was like a chance for me to run in the 10,000 and claim the title. And at the same time, it was a chance for me to run the half marathon record. So to me, absolutely, I don't regret anything because next year we still have the Olympics. And we still have the World Championships coming up, and I still have that time and that chance. So maybe I've just achieved one of my dreams. So I'm just going for the next dream. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, and speaking about the 10,000, just before we move move from that, we know that you competed in the 10,000 meters in Beijing. And I just want to ask about your experience competing against Mo Farah. Was that the first time you competed against him? And how was that experience?
I think it was a great experience for me, competing against him. I think it has been so long for the country to claim that title. And for me, it was a good time for me to try my best if I could win. And for sure, I really tried my best. I ran against him. I gave all what I had by then, and I got a silver medal, which it was really incredible for me. It motivated me and inspired me that maybe in future I can still go for one. Yeah. So it was really
Go ahead. Sorry, continue.
So for me, it was a kind of motivation and inspiration to run with such a great athlete like Mo Farah, whom he has won the Olympic titles and the world titles. Yeah.
Yeah. And just about the preparation, was there anything different, just as we're on the topic of the 10,000, was there anything different from, we'll talk about how you train currently later on, but I just want to know, how did you actually train for that opportunity when you run against Mo Farah? How was you training for the 10,000 meters?
The training was really okay. The training was going on well. We did everything that was expected by that time. So maybe we gave the best of ourselves by then, but we still have a room and a chance to still stretch ourselves and to see where did we mess up or where did we make a mistake. So I think that's the only difference that we are still going to undertake.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Now, just to everyone who's joining us live, we have with us Geoffrey Kamworor, who is the World Half Marathon record holder, joining us for this fantastic exclusive interview, and for that we're grateful. If you have any questions for this staff, please leave them in the comments, and I'll get to them just at the end of this. So I'll make sure that he can answer any questions that you might have on your mind. Now, moving forward, I want to talk about 2016, Geoffrey, in Cardiff, right? Something incredible happened, which is that you fell at the beginning of the race. Now, this is actually something I can relate to. As I said earlier, that I was a former runner, and this once happened to me, except the outcome wasn't the same. I fell at the beginning of the race. I was completely injured. Mentally, I was not okay. So I had to pull out of that race, and I didn't finish. But the difference with you as a star is that you fell at the beginning of the race, and you came back and won this race. Please tell us a bit about that. How did you endure the mental and physical strength to actually fall at the beginning of a race, get up, and win that race?
I think for me, going for the Cardiff in 2016, I was the defending champion for the World Half Marathon. So number one, I was going there I was there to defend the title. And number two, I prepared very well for that half marathon. Remember, I had skipped a lot of races that I could have ran. But knowing that I had a championship coming ahead of me, I really prepared very well, and I was ready for the race. So when I went there, everything was okay until the last minute when the weather changed. It was raining, so At the start of the race, I slipped and I fell down. So the real mass was behind me, and they were like staving on me. When I tried to wake up, I was still pushed down. So it was a real challenge to me. It took like 30 seconds for me to wake up from the ground, and I was like, will I really make it?
Yeah.
So when I wake up, I just feel that my legs are okay, despite the fact that I had small injuries from the knee, and I could say I could feel that I could still swing my hands very well. I had no injury. So and I was focused for that race to win the race, because I prepared very well. So, and I knew that it was just the start of the race. So I still have time. We still have a long way to go. 13 miles is a long way to go. So maybe I could chase the lead group. And for sure, after like 2 kilometers, I found them, and we were in the lead together, and we were running together. Despite the fact that from behind, it was really a challenge for me to come from the crowd all the way to the lead group, because there were a mass. So, and when I got the lead group, I was like, yes, I can still make it. My legs was still running. My energy was still there. My focus was still there. So for sure, I was mentally and physically prepared. So I just forget that I fell down at the finish line. I assumed everything and I assumed everything, that everything was okay. I never fell down, and the race continued. And so to me, I couldn't allow myself to surrender or to go out of the race because of such a challenge. So I just took it I just took that challenge in a positive way, and I said yes, I can still do it. Yeah. And I knew at the back of my mind that I prepared for that race very well, and I could disappoint many people. So the management was there for me, the coaches, the official. So I never wanted to disappoint many people. So, and I say yes, I can still go for it, and I can make it. Yes.
I think that's fantastic, especially what you talk about, the mental and physical preparation you did before. Mostly mental for me, because I think that's a huge challenge, being able to pick yourself up and continue. But it's good to see that the preparation that you did before, was actually a boosting factor for you to be able to get up and continue this, And I just want to talk about that preparation a bit more. Let's talk about your training process, What exactly does distance running training involve, Just let us know a bit more about your training routines. How do you get ready for a race? What is the day-to-day in normal circumstances? I know we're in a different circumstance now, and we'll speak about that a little later. But let's talk about normally. What does your training process look like?
I think before the race or any competition, it really requires a tough training, like 5 to 6 months for a race. Like when I'm preparing for a marathon, I could prepare for good 6 months. So it's like it's like a kind of perseverance, discipline, and being focused and knowing what you really want, because you don't want for my case, I don't want to go a competition whereby I could doubt myself. So I want whereby I get a ample time for preparation. I make sure that I'm doing everything that's required for the race. I want a way whereby when I'm in a race, I'm building a full confidence in myself that I prepared very well. I did everything that's required, and I'm ready for this race, and I'm ready for any challenge. Not like whereby you doubt yourself that you are like, you didn't do this, you didn't have enough time for preparation. So it really takes a longer time. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your eating habits? Can you tell us a bit more about your diet? Is this also something you have to, take into consideration before you go to a big event, or do you just eat normally?
I think you just eat normally, but before the competition, you just take the light diet, like taking tea and snacks or a banana, just something light. But the last before the race, maybe the last supper prior to the race, you just take every supper, you eat very well before tomorrow. 3 hours to the race, maybe you take something like tea, snacks, or a banana, and you are ready to go.
Yeah. Fantastic. Now that's interesting. You can see such a simple guy. No fancy diet, nothing dramatic, just simplicity all the way and his own discipline, and he makes it just like that. This is fantastic. I've seen fantastic comments coming in from the live audience. Please do keep them coming. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and write them in the comment section, and I'll definitely address them. Now, moving forward, as we still talk about your training process, tell us about the current situation. I've spoken to you and you've said that, things are definitely different in this moment. So tell us about how you're actually managing to stay fit during this pandemic.
Actually, at the moment, things are really strange because to me, I've used to train with a group, with my training mates. But right now, I'm just training alone. And I think this is the time that requires really high discipline, because you need to discipline yourself, whereby, because you are doing most of the things by yourself. Like right now, I'm doing long runs alone. I'm doing my speed walks alone. And at the same time, I'm doing exercise alone at home, whereby I've used to doing all these things with a group. So I'm just trying myself to figure out and normalize that things are strange. But this is really a big challenge, and I'm taking it in a positive way. And at the same time, I'm living at an estate near the town, so the routes are limited for the trainings. So it's almost one route that I can access. Yeah. And so sometimes I could do my trainings on treadmill, mostly because that's the best way I can than going out myself. Yeah. But in a way, in a scenario like going for a long run, I can go out, run for myself. The good thing is that I'm following a program. We are keeping in touch with my training mates and with the coaches. Yeah. So what guides me right now is the program that we normally that coaches are normally sent to me, and the way we just we normally talk with my training mates how we are going to do. Yes.
Okay, now this is fantastic. It's very important to hear that from you. And I know that even though this athletics and running is an individual sport, that I understand the value of training with your team and doing everything with the team. So it must still, even if it's you carry out the final mile alone, it must definitely be different. Training alone and not having your teammates around. But I'm sure, I mean, as you've said, you've been so positive. One thing I must say to everyone out there, Kamworor has been extremely positive and just smiling and taking the situation very well. So I'm sure everything is working out. Now, talking about, as we're talking about this current situation, of course, it also led to the postponement of the Olympics. And just about that, so far, we haven't really seen you win an Olympic medal. So I want to know more about this. Tell me how you feel about the Olympics. Do you value getting an Olympic medal? Is this something you're going to be working towards in the future?
Yes, for sure I can say that the Olympic medal I'm lacking in my gallery is, I think it's almost it's only an Olympic medal. That's why I'm really looking forward to getting one. And for sure, at the start of this year, everything was going on well. I had a focus that I'm going to run in 10,000, and I was really focused, and I really trained out that I really wanted to get something in the championship. I really wanted to get a medal. So it was really unfortunate that this pandemic came along and affected everything. But that one didn't interrupt my focus and about the Olympics. I'm still aiming very high. I'm still positive. I'm still training hard. I'm still looking forward to getting a medal in Olympics. Be it next year, I'm optimistic that I'll for sure train hard and participate in the Olympics and go for a medal. Yeah.
I think this positive attitude is brilliant, and it's something that we should all pick up from. We can see that, going to the Olympics is a big deal, and, having this goal and feeling that the timing is right for you to be ready to do that. It's hard to get to that point, and, to reach that point and something in the world happens and you can't do it anymore. This is definitely not easy mentally, but as you can see, Kamworor is being completely positive, and I do believe that when the Olympics do happen next year, you'll be fantastic and you will still achieve your goals. Now, of course, you
Yes.
are known as being the greatest half marathon runner of this generation. Your training partner, Kipchoge, is also regarded the greatest marathon runner of all times. So, what is it like training with Kipchoge? Let's start.
Training with Eliud is really something special to me. It's something that motivates me so much. As I've said that a long time ago when I was still in high school, I could hear the name Eliud Kipchoge. By then he was a great athlete, and I could admire that one time I could meet him. Little did I know that I'll train with him and be with him in the same camp, in the same management, sharing the same coach. It's really something special to me. I really get to know Eliud. When I got to join a global sports communication in the year 2010, when I met Eliud, I couldn't believe, because he was just a simple guy, very humble, very disciplined, very friendly. So I got to learn a lot from him. I got to learn a lot of. He's really a great disciplined guy. He's really focused. That's why he's going places. He's training hard, and he has motivated us so much. Like personally, he has motivated me so much. Even when he was going to break, before I break the world record, he's the one who motivated me that you can do it. So he had already broken the world record for the marathon. So I wanted to follow his footsteps, and I was like, I can do it and follow this great man of mine. So all along, he has been a great guide to me. He has been giving me a lot of advices to remain focused, to be disciplined, and always to respect yourself and respect your trainings. Yeah.
I think it's fantastic that both of you, have a chance to train together and interact, because Kipchoge is a great inspiration, and I think both of you have the same traits. As you say, the things that you look up to him for, the discipline and the mental toughness. We see that in you as well. So I want you to know that I think it's fantastic that you've actually gotten the chance. And what I didn't know actually was that he was you looked up to him when you were in high school. So it's I think that's absolutely brilliant that you looked up to him and then ended up training with him and having him inspire you. But on a bit more rivalry, I just want to know, do you have any plans of beating Kipchoge's world marathon record?
I think for me, I'm really looking forward to racing with him, and just to have an experience running with him and see how things will go. I think I'm really looking forward to race against someone you are looking up to.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yes. And I think I think that will be one of the greatest and most exciting races. So I'll definitely would like to see that happen. And now yes. A bit more on the landscape of sports in Kenya. I just want to know. We understand that doping is a huge scandal. That's affecting some of our athletes currently. So what's your opinion about it? Actually, let's just start there. What's your opinion about all the doping issues that are currently that have currently been happening?
Yes, I can say about doping is something not so good to our athletics. Remember, athletics is a career that someone has inside him or her. So, and for us to like personally, I have a lot of passion in athletics, and I could urge everyone that let's all protect our sport, because this is a place whereby you can interact with the world. You can have a peaceful world with many people. You can travel to places. You can meet places. You can make positive impact to the world and for the coming generations. So I think it's our duty to protect our sport from doping, to make sure that our generations which are coming can learn from us, that they were running clean. So I think with training and with focus and everything, you can still achieve it. Doping is not a way of going for winnings or achieving in life. So the only way you can achieve in life is by working hard, training hard, focusing, and disciplining yourself, and protect and running clean. Yes.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. I was actually going to ask, what are the ways that people like yourself are empowering younger athletes to make sure that they're not following into those footsteps or getting, in the thinking that doping is something positive. But as you mentioned, I think it's important that, people like you, Kipchoge, and many others are setting a brilliant example of running clean. And hopefully they can see this and actually know that, in order to be a star, you don't have to cheat or make it in another way. So I'm glad that you're setting a positive example, and I hope that you and stars like yourself will continue setting such brilliant examples. Now I'm going to move on and ask some of the questions that we've seen, from the live audience. So Janet on Facebook is asking about coaches, and she says, what prevents Kenyan coaches and agents from helping athletes become successful internationally? Is it only foreign agents who can help athletes?
Yes, I think everyone has a chance of achieving in life, in athletics, provided that you are really working hard and training hard. Remember, the only way you can achieve it, but you can achieve it in life by getting a sponsor or a manager or a coaches, is by training really very hard, disciplining yourself, and showing passion in what you are doing. And absolutely, for sure, if you are doing it the right thing, you can get a manager or an agent. Because right now there are many local races in Kenya, whereby you can just train very hard. You go, you secure yourself a good position. That's when you can get a coach or a manager. Because for sure you cannot get a manager from nowhere. You have to show passion and show a lot of hard work. Yes.
Very true. And yes, and Janet, I believe, this is something that's very important for us as the whole, as the different people in the Kenyan sports industry to actually take note of and understand the role we can play in changing this. Of course, it would be nice if local people can represent the likes of Kamworor and Kipchoge instead of having international agents and coaches actually take that up. I believe the coaches are local, but, in terms of agents and all that representation is from outside. So definitely, Janet, I think, maybe possibly, our industry was not as much established as the rest of the world at the time that these athletes were coming up, So it's very easy for people from outside to take on these roles. But now I think we're realizing when we're waking up. So hopefully the future is bright for us and we can all work collectively to be able to represent our own athletes and highlight them in the greatest strength. Now on to the next question. We have a question
So maybe before that, maybe I could tell Janet to just train hard,
definitely
focus, and the things will get on its way. Just to keep positive, and the things will get on its course. Yes.
Fantastic. Positivity is just the one word I can hear from you all the time, and I think this is brilliant. On to the next question. It says, why can't most young Kenyan athletes make it big?
I think they can make it. They can make it because when they run and follow their mentors or I think they can make it in life when they can train hard, have someone to look at, have a role model, and just and just keep positive. He has a chance of achieving in life. Remember, everyone started from low to where he is. Like personally, I didn't just wake up one day and just reach where I am. I just went slowly, train hard as I gained experience. Yes.
Definitely. So I think I agree with that 100%. I think, you know, if you're willing, if you're driven, definitely you can put yourself in a situation to become a champion, just like Kamworor has. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and you know we'll ask him. And as we wait and see if anyone has more questions, I actually just want to ask. I know you're very positive, but I want to know. I won't directly ask about the challenges that you face in the industry, but I would like to know that if today you were put as the Kenyan sports minister, what would you change for athletes?
One, I think I could just change the training, start the training facilities, improve the training facilities. I mean, like track trainings, like tracks in Kenya. If I was the sports minister, I could build each stadium in each county whereby athletes can go train, and at the same time start a training camp in every county whereby young athletes can be brought in. They can be trained there. They can be motivated there. They can be taught there about athletics and good morals of the athletics. That's the way we could go, and at the same time support them. Yeah, those are the sort of things they need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Now I'm just going to highlight some of the positive comments that we have coming in. Janet says that it's great to be here. You know, she says that it's fantastic to be listening to athletic heroes, which is you, not me, of course. So I think that's fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Janet, we have Kevin here as well, who says that he's locked in. You know, the content that you're providing is just fantastic. So thank you for joining us, Kevin. You know, we have Susan here who says that it's fantastic that 5 months after high school you're already international. You know, I think that's brilliant too, Susan. And I was surprised, I didn't know this about him, so this is fantastic. And she goes ahead to say that, you know, that the fact that you've won 90% of the half marathons, this is fantastic. And she says that this is downplayed, and I agree. You know, and people like me, of course, who value you, understand the impact of what you're doing. But I think more people, you know, need to see how amazing this is. So I mean, I think she's applauding you on that. Definitely, you know. And you know, we have here that, you know, that you're a living legend and the king of half marathon. I agree with that. And I think that's definitely fantastic. Yeah. And here he says again, you know, that definitely, you know, talking about the Olympics, that we definitely believe in you and you'll get the medal in Tokyo. So that is fantastic. If you have any more comments or questions, feel free to put them in. And I just want to ask about, you know, the next generation. So are you actually playing any role in terms of, you know, engaging with the next generation of athletes who are coming up?
Yeah, for sure. I'm optimistic that the coming generations will really continue with the mantle from us. We'll just leave the mantle and they can continue with it. It's our duty that we show them the way and set good examples to them right now, because I think the young generation is looking at us. So it's for us now to make sure that we show them the right things to do. We show them that by running clean, by protecting our sport, and showing them that discipline, hard work, and focus can take you to places. And for sure, maybe in future when I'll retire, I'll be willing to show them the way, to teach them, to mentor some, to show that our sport is continuing.
Yeah. Fantastic. I think that's great. And I hope that is something that you can definitely do. Now, just as we wrap up, I want to ask about if you had to select one star, just one sports star, one athlete who you completely love and completely look up to, who would you select?
Eliud Kipchoge.
Fantastic. I mean, I wouldn't even ask for a reason, because I would have given the exact same answer. And I'm glad to know that your biggest inspiration is a local star. So that is fantastic. And I'm very happy to hear that.
Thank you.
Now, as we wrap up, I'm just a parting shot. I would like to ask for, you know, advice to the, not even only the upcoming generation, but, you know, any other current athletes who may be watching this, anyone who is struggling with their athletic career, people who are on track, but, need to hear something positive from a star such as yourself, what would you tell them?
I would just the young generation or the upcoming generation that that all are possible, have passion, believe in yourself, believe in what you are doing, focus, know what you want in life, and follow the right channels, do the right thing at the right time, and absolutely you will reach where you want to reach. Just focus and maintain your focus and work hard for it. Yes.
Fantastic. Now you see, as he says, it all boils down to focus and a lot of aspects of discipline that will take you to where you want to be. Thank you so much. As you've heard it, ladies and gentlemen, from the half marathon world record holder and two-time world cross-country champion, Geoffrey Kamworor. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. I think that was a brilliant experience. I've learned so much personally, which I didn't know about you. And I'm very glad that you could take some time out of your training and everything else that you have to do to join us for this interview. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And welcome.